Hi, Desire, nice to meet you. Desire, nice to meet you. Desire, nice to meet you. Thank God it's in the shade. Hi, Desire, nice to meet you.
You got a strong woman crew.
I love it, I love it.
And we're back. Wait, another cheers.
Another cheers, boom. Okay, so what's in here, first of all? What do we have?
We have a handcrafted lemonade. It's not handcrafted. And Smirnoff.
Okay.
But it tastes handcrafted.
You know what I mean?
So the first time that we connected 2 years ago,
Yeah.
you said a quote to me that was so powerful. And you said that you get most joy out of creating something as opposed to a finished project.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if that's still something that brings you joy.
I'm finding that I'm starting to enjoy the finished product a lot more, only because, you know, I think I'm finally comfortable with, like, you know, putting on one of my songs and actually listening to it and enjoying it, as opposed to, like, you know, listening to it and just breaking it apart and being like, that could have been better, this could have been better, you know, I want to change this, I want to change that, you know. So I think, you know, the last time that we spoke, you know, the reason why I enjoy the process so much more was because, you know, I think there's a certain level of control, you know, during the process, you know, where it's like, okay, well, you know, it's finished, but it's not quite finished. You know, we can change it, we can tweak it, but when you hear the final product, or, you know, when you hear the song on Spotify, it's like, well, this is it. You can't change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but I think I've become a lot more comfortable with, like, okay, this is the final product. It may not be perfect. It may not be everything that you wanted it to be, but, you know, there's beauty in finishing something and hearing the final product. So, yeah, you know, I think I'm proud to say that I'm, like, you know, I still very much enjoy the making process, but the final product feels.
I can't help but feel like that statement, like, echoes so much as to, like, who you are right now. You're going to talk me.
And I'm not even drinking. Let me just do that.
I know, I was going to say sip, sip, Desire. Okay, so yeah, I feel like that statement that you just said about now really enjoying the end process as opposed to the making of it kind of, like, signifies where you are right now. And, like, tell me if I'm off, but I knew that you were raised in Congo until you were 13.
Yeah.
You came to Toronto. I understand that your brother kind of showed you more rap, hip hop, and your sister's more R&B.
Yeah.
So I feel like you are right now the artist that you were always meant to be, in a sense. Do you feel that way?
I do. I do, but I still think that there is a lot of work to be done. You know, I think, you know, for the past 2-3 years, I've really been focusing on the kind of artist that I would like to be sonically, and, you know, perfecting my vocals and, you know, making sure that my, you know, songwriting was up to par. You know, but I think I'm starting to get to the point where I want to start to tell a wider story. You know, and what that looks like and what that sounds like. It's, you know, I'm going forward. I'm very much excited to bring more visuals into the story and kind of really creating and, you know, and really kind of, you know, bringing in my visual identity into everything.
Which you were filming a music video recently, weren't you?
Yeah.
What was the video for?
It's the first single off of a new project. I know, I just keep putting things out. Everybody's like, you're moving too fast.
Wait, so is Closer a standalone single?
Yes, Closer was a standalone single, but Closer will be part of the project.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to hear more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know Paradise was, like, now a long time ago for you, but I love the tape so much that I want to talk about it. And I know that you linked up with Sprill, so he's an Australian producer.
Yeah.
So I really want to know how you guys got together, but as well, how do you know when someone's the right person to collaborate with?
I had done a feature on an amazing artist named Desiire, and his manager, you know, when we were going back and forth finishing the song, was like, hey, you know, Sprill, who produced the song that I was featured on, is, you know, looking for artists to collaborate with, and so on and so forth. And yeah, you know, we kind of ended up going back and forth on a couple songs for his project. And, you know, after we had finished with his records, I was like, you know, hey, I'm working on some stuff, and I sent him a couple of, you know, the songs that I was working on, you know, so he can kind of catch the vibe. And then the second he sent Paradise, it was like, this is the one. You know, for me, I usually know if the song is it within, like, the first 20 seconds of hearing it. And then within 10 seconds, I was like, this is it.
Speaking of writing songs, something that I wanted to touch on as well was, when it comes to writing for you, Would you say that it's easier to write like a song about heartbreak as opposed to a song about love? And take that in the sense as, is it easier to write about something that's hard to go through rather than something that's a happier moment?
Yeah, I definitely have to say pain.
Pain.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, pain because, you know, I think I express emotion a lot better, and a lot clearer when I sing from a point of pain. You know, I express emotion a lot more when I talk about like, you know, real life things, and that's not to say that, you know, being in love and being in a relationship and, you know, talking about love, you know, isn't, you know, real life. But I think especially as R&B singers, I think our default setting, you know, whenever we start writing is to go towards writing the love song. You know what I mean? Because, you know, that's what we know, and that's what we've grown up on, you know. But, you know, I think for me, the songs that you know, that speak to my, you know, to my life and where I am at in my life right now, or more, you know, songs about, you know, having like a shitty day at work, or like, you know, not have enough money to pay my rent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, stuff that like the regular average Jane or Joe
Right.
can relate.
So then, speaking of Closer,
Yeah.
the track that I've had on repeat for so long.
Yay.
Look what you started. Sweat
Yeah.
dripping all on my
Yeah,
body or your body?
It's your body. I mean, it could be both.
So is that like, what does that song represent for you? Is that are you sad in that song? Or
No.
Okay.
And funny enough, Closer was actually supposed to be on the Paradise EP.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I decided not to put it in because, you know, I don't think that I was quite there, you know, in terms of my artistry to, you know, put out a love song. You know, and it's interesting you asked, you know, the question about singing love songs as opposed to singing, you know, songs about life and heartbreak. You know, when I recorded it, as much as I love the song, I just don't think I was quite ready to present that side of myself, you know, to the public yet. And after the Paradise EP came out, and, you know, I've grown into my, you know, into my voice, into who I am as a person and my artistry a lot more. You know, I finally felt like it was time to, you know, put out a song about, you know, love and you know, and intimacy.
Okay. I want to know a little bit about you being an up-and-coming artist in Toronto and your relationship with the city. Do you think that Toronto is a supportive city for up-and-coming acts?
The public and the fans really want to hear young, up-and-coming hip-hop and R&B artists come out of the city. And, you know, there's been, over the past 4 or 5 years, there's been like amazing, you know, young R&B acts that have come out of the city, you know. But I do think that, you know, when you really dig a little deeper, it gets a little hard for, you know, for us to make a name for ourselves and to make, you know, a career, because the infrastructure is just not there, you know. You know, I find that it's, you know, it's usually a lot easier for pop, alternative, and, you know, rock acts to, you know, thrive in the city and in the country, but it's, you know, it's a lot harder for, you know, for urban acts. You know, I can't tell you exactly why, you know, but I can tell you that it's slowly but very surely changing, you know.
And finally, I would love to hear a little roundup or tease as to what you're doing next and what we can expect.
What we can expect? Well, I'm dropping a new project in a couple months. You know, my team and I were sort of kind of in the preparation process. Shot a video for the first single a couple weeks ago. And yeah, you know, so this new project that I'm essentially working on is, you know, I think it's going to be a happy marriage between music and visual art. You know, we're working on a couple videos, also working on a short film and a series of, you know, fashion editorials to kind of go along with that. You know, because I've always been such a huge fan of, you know, of fashion and visual art, and I haven't really gotten a chance to, you know, showcase that with my past projects. So yeah, you know, so this one it's going to be, you know, we're going full out with this one.
Dripping all on your body, race to the finish, your body, intimacy, now
I'm gonna like laugh halfway through it. Okay.
Yes and no.